We're more connected than we've ever been, and yet more people feel lonely, isolated and unsupported than at any point in history. The cost of living is rising, jobs feel unstable or harder to access, and a lot of people are quietly carrying everything on their own. This video isn't about fixing that overnight, it's about remembering something we've slowly lost. That humans were never meant to carry life alone. Living in community was a survival system. It's when, back in the day, we actually had to live with each other, to protect each other, to bring up children, to find resources, to get food, to build shelters. It's been built into us. Now, like with modern society, we're so connected through the internet, through just speaking to somebody on the other side of the world, from getting as much information as there is as possible. But there's so many people nowadays feeling a lot more isolated or lonely, and that is like a modern problem. And for me, I believe it is through community. It's like the loss of that community aspect. So nowadays, I think it was like the Rockefellers that brought in the system of schools in America. And that was basically so that we could have two adults in the work environment. Now, a lot of people, like a lot of modern people, believe that that was a really good thing. It was like giving the women more like freedom and independence and stuff. And yeah, I totally agree. But we've lost something as well. Like our grandparents' age, they had like more family. They had bigger families round about them. So obviously, I don't think there was that much childcare back then. So it was always the mother that looked after the children, and it was just one parent going to work, which was enough to support the family. So obviously the kind of mostly it was the men that kind of went to work, but their kind of group of friends were people that they worked with. But the women, they were more like community orientated. They were more active in the local towns and villages, and obviously all the kids had loads. If they had loads of kids, then they had friends. So then the kind of families got to know each other a lot better. So that's what I mean. We've lost. Obviously, a lot of modern people would say that it's good for the both parents, both sexes, to get that independence, working, etc. Yeah, and I totally agree, as I said, but it's just we have lost something. So this is what I'm saying about community. The loneliness that people have from just being in this modern world, not actually being aligned with the kind of job that they kind of want, or find it difficult to find jobs that have got a bit of a sense of belonging. Because most companies now, they just want people to they're trying to get as much out of each person as possible, and not actually caring for that individual person. So the jobs that we're doing just become really meaningless. And then people just go to work to get money to pay the bills, and by the end of the week or by the end of the month they'll get no money left over again. So what's the point? Do you know what I mean? I think 20 years ago the social thing was a lot better. People that just lived on the dole were getting a lot more money, but nowadays that is not the case. Everybody's struggling. The retirement funds as well, it's really bad. So there isn't that kind of social element that people go, oh, it might be better just to be on the dole or just to retire. So we need to be looking at solutions and thinking of things to bring back And for me, this is where community kind of comes in play, because that kind of solves a lot of kind of issues, like with that loneliness of that connecting with people again. Because like, as I said, like being on the internet or connecting to people online or like from the other end of the world, yeah, like you can connect, but then you're losing that kind of eye contact, that physical kind of being in the presence, like just walking with somebody in a forest and chatting to them, let them talk, you listen, and then you talk and then they listen. Like you kind of lose something with that. When we're with people, we've got like joy and laughter, and that makes us happier. That makes us feel not lonely anymore. We have like kind of, yeah, like we go away like actually feeling great, and that's what we've kind of lost in the kind of community with the crowds and stuff. And like sometimes as well, like what I was thinking is, even when you're with like family members or whatever, sometimes you're not your full self with them. Now there's like a part of, just an example for myself. Like I always remember like when I was younger, my grandparents, they used to have like really massive parties, and it was all like family members. It was like 200 family members all in one party, and that was like all birthdays and stuff. I think my gran was one of 13, and obviously they all had like 5 or 6 kids each as well, and then obviously all of us, we were the grandkids, and then obviously a few friends and stuff. But I always remember these parties were amazing. I was like, this is like your family, and it was so joyful. It was so like great to feel a part of it. Now when you kind of grow up a wee bit, your kind of social dynamics are a wee bit change, and obviously you go through like teenager and stuff like that. So then with like family members, you kind of feel a wee bit, you're not your full self. And then my aunt Celine, who like passed away from cancer a few years back, she took on that baton as such from my grandparents, and she used to have parties in her house. And I actually went to Ibiza with her on holiday, and when I was just saying about not necessarily understanding that kind of social aspect with your family, you can be like dead, you can be yourself or your friends, but with your family sometimes there's a wee bit of a kind of hurdle that you need to get past. So I went over to Ibiza with my aunt and my uncle, and like right away we just like hit it off, and it was as if we're all best pals. And so when we came back, like my aunt started having parties in her house, and it was like my grandparents' age. We brought like my grand's sisters down as well, and then obviously my mum and my aunts and stuff, that generation. And then me, the cousin, I was the oldest. I'm the oldest out of all the cousins. So we used to, and I've got quite a few of them. So we brought this like kind of intergenerational family dynamics, and we brought friends down as well. Now that was that same family bond that I remember with my grandparents having. And also I remember like 3 of my cousins' husbands basically said to me, John, one of the first times that we ever came to this family group, we wanted in, because it was just something different. And so for me, like what I want to build, as in like a kind of company, kind of community, it's got that dynamic at its core. So I really want to build, like I think you've heard me say, Celine Resorts. And that is because of my aunt Celine that passed away, that she brought, it was like a kind of environment where all the different generations like came under one roof, and like there was no like kind of, as I said, that social dynamic of you can't be yourself. It was like everybody was being themselves, with family members, with anybody that came in. Now to just like be allowed to be yourself and not have anybody looking down upon you or like feel as if you shouldn't be doing that. Because I remember like as well when I had a party, actually it was the first time I got married, we had this like massive Rutherglen town hall, 200 people, and we had bands and stuff on. And I remember my cousins came down from England and they came up and they're like, this is brilliant how you can just be yourselves in the environment. Down south you would kind of you would be frowned upon if you were being this kind of open. So that's kind of stuck with me a wee bit, and this is what I was meaning about being allowed to be yourself and in those kind of environments. And that's what we kind of want to have moving forward. There's another thing as well, like when I worked in hospitality, I had this I wrote down a hospitality philosophy for my business plans, and that was based upon the atmosphere that you create in that environment. Because if you walk into some restaurants, if it wasn't really that busy and you walk in, sometimes you see the staff like poop their heads up and then they run away going, shit, there's customers. And when you walk into an environment like that, you can feel that tension. Whereas like for me, when I worked in, like, I always preferred working in the busier environments because you were in your flow, you kind of managed to, the atmosphere was better. At first, obviously, I didn't have words for it, but obviously reflecting back, and as I said, when I did my hospitality philosophy for my business plans, I wrote about all this. It's about creating an environment where customers feel, like they just want to be a part of it. And this is what I'm saying, that kind of, So like, I was reading Richard Branson's books, and he basically wrote it all out, as in, he believes that his biggest resource isn't like profits or like shareholders or customers, it's his staff members. And the reason he says it's his staff members is because he's like, if we invest in our staff, if we treat them good, then they're the face of our brand. They're the people that interact with our customers. So if you've got really unhappy staff, the customers feel that, and then they're like, well, I don't want to go back to Virgin, that's a bit rubbish, because of one staff member is unhappy. Now that's like as well for me when I worked in hospitality, like I end up just hanging about like after work with the staff members that were good at their job because they were happy, and I got that. Whereas like some of the staff members are like, oh, it's just a job, I'm just doing it for paying for my college course and stuff. They weren't really nice, they weren't really that great to be hanging about with because they were quite, do you know what I mean, bit down and stuff. So moving forward, I want my kind of brand that I want to build, or a business that I want to build, to incorporate that kind of philosophy as such, as in you want to make people happy to be in their job. So it's like aligning with their passions. As I said before in the last video, it was like, right, let's, instead of creating a job and like apply, like let people apply for the job, let's hire a person and then work with them, find out what their passions are, and then create roles for them. And then so when you've got somebody that's aligned, that is embodied, like with their kind of, do you know what I mean, like their passions, the way that their kind of mental state is, and being like living that experience, that is like the kind of people we want to be working with. I kind of want to go back to the clan systems, and like you've kind of got older kind of cultures, the Jewish, the Amish, how they actually, in modern society, well, the Jewish and the Amish, modern society, it's their family dynamics. That's where I was going, sorry. So their family dynamics. So in modern society, a lot of people are just like kind of looking out for themselves and saying that, right, as long as I'm secure and my family are secure and stuff, that's all that matters. And obviously linking it back to before, like our grandparents had bigger families, so they're looking after their family members was a kind of a big concern. But because the kids had friends and the mothers like were involved in the community, then that family dynamic was a lot bigger. So a lot of people wanted to care for each other rather than just the small family dynamics we've got. And that's what I feel as if is disconnected in our modern society, is that kind of, right, just looking out for themselves and not looking out for anybody else. So like this is what I'm saying about bringing back that community style. If we built communities where we can have that protection, that clan system, the old Scottish clan system, where we look out for everybody in the kind of community. Like clan is actually family, and that's the name of it. So that's kind of where I'm going with my brand and stuff. But yeah, like I better just stop and talk because I keep getting distracted. Some of these like kind of walking talks is actually harder because I'm like, right, what am I talking about next? So like with modern kind of technology, we've got like things like AI and stuff, and like these kind of things are really useful. Like to like as I said, I went into AI before about it all, but these are really kind of useful tools, but we want to incorporate that with the actual dynamic of humans being in contact with each other, doing jobs that are meaningful, actually be passionate about that kind of that job, creating environments where it's like, it's amazing. As soon as you walk through that door, people are like, wow, this is amazing. And then if you couple that with like making places look beautiful, like I mean, like this another big giant redwood behind us and stuff. So it's like just nature. So if we couple like nature with modern living, with like technology, with the AI like has and giving us a good direction to go down, and then we've got, like as I said, our human touch, where we're all kind of being together, like walking about together instead of just one person feeling lonely in their house, or do classes, do dance classes, like let's do like retreats that we're wanting to do as a group. Like that's going to be brilliant to be a part of, and this is why I'm so excited for life. My wife kind of like we split up, but she kind of teased me. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're going to go into your best years of your life," and I'm like, "Yes, I am." It's like I can see the vision that I'm wanting to start, and like for me, it was just sitting waiting for my life to kind of come towards me, and I just checked out of life. Whereas now it's like I started that kind of 90-day reset, and that was based upon like it takes 90 days to get rid of your addictions, but then it also means it takes 90 days to give good habits. So like I'm kind of wanting to start doing a bit of a kind of a WhatsApp group or a bit of a community based upon that. So like kind of marrying everything that I've kind of went through, that 90-day reset. So adding new daily habits that allows you to kind of get discipline, to get you motivation, to kind of wanting to kind of come out, and couple that with that kind of mini day that I was saying, that instead of me just getting up for work and not actually getting up for myself, that kind of changed the kind of mindset. I was like, why am I not getting up early for my own self when it's my day off? Why am I only getting up for a job that I don't like doing? So I want to kind of marry all this kind of into kind of one, not necessarily product, but like because I didn't think I was going to be selling anything or doing anything, but I kind of, somebody reached out to me just saying, oh, I want you to kind of help me and stuff like that kind of way. So I'm like, well, the fact that I've actually done this, I've went through it, actually I've got that experience. So yeah, I think I'm wanting to start a kind of WhatsApp group, doing 2 kind of WhatsApp groups as such. So one as that kind of community that kind of what I was just talking about, like as in like having that sense of belonging to a group of people. Yeah, and then like obviously we could kind of and further on we could like start doing like meetups and groups and parties and stuff like that, and Kayleys and stuff, and that's kind of my vision of how where that can kind of go down, that community group. But also like with the work that I've done for myself in that chapter 2, the kind of blue thumbnail ones, that was a lot about memory and going down like kind of, do you know what I mean, trying to figure out what I was aligned with, what I was really passionate about, what kind of work I had to do on myself. So that was a kind of middle chapter. So I kind of want to kind of incorporate that in as well. So as in, we'll have a group for like our community, and then we'll have separate individual groups based on like archetypes and gene keys and stuff. And once I get people's like kind of like birth dates or whatever, we can add them to different groups, and then we can do that kind of deeper inner work from that, and then trying to find what that person's aligned with and stuff. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm kind of going to do. So I'll put a wee post in the description of the first wee group that I want to start. Yeah, and kind of get people to that kind of embodied stage that I feel as if I am now in, which is great. And then obviously from there we can then build our sleeping resorts and retreats, etc., based upon that kind of idea of building community and kind of, yeah, like that Richard Branson, as in your biggest resource is the people that you've got working with you. And as I said, if you can like kind of, well, it's kind of going back to that club 18 to 30 days, like as in I got the job when I was on holiday, and the reason I got the job is because I actually loved the kind of idea, the concept of it. So it was a wee bit more expensive to go with the bar crawls and stuff, but say you're only in with 2 or 3 people, that you could pay extra money to go with the group, the club 18 to 30 parties and stuff, and then there's loads of these, there's like 200, 300, even more. And every night you're seeing the same people. So there's that bond, that community spirit. So because like I loved the brand, I loved the concept, that's why I got the job. So that's how I want to kind of incorporate into what we want to build here, the kind of WhatsApp groups, part of the community, then start doing retreats and stuff. And then once people have actually lived through this like kind of concept and idea, maybe they'll do what I did with the Club 18 to 30, is like, wow, I love that idea, I love that concept, how do we work with that with your company as such? And that's what I want to base my whole brand and business upon, is like yeah, like actually creating as many jobs as possible, but jobs that are meaningful and purposeful. And then like, as I said, like building estates all around Scotland or even further a place, building that community. Whereas the people that work in your estates, work in your resorts, the sleeping resorts, that they can have their own communities that they live in. And yeah, so that is my vision. That is all my kind of lived experience, my kind of reflections about all that coming together into one kind of final kind of, yeah, idea, philosophy, product. And this is what my YouTube channel is going down, that direction. Obviously I've kind of always said that like, well, I want this kind of YouTube channel to be the kind of marketing tool as such, or yeah, just a kind of showcase of what I'm building through like showing you guys. Now obviously this is still the early stages, and that's why I was just kind of doing it more of a kind of, what do you call it, a video blog of yeah, kind of what I'm wanting to do kind of thing. So there's people again. Yeah, so distracted. Yeah, so like I kind of did this channel as just a video blog of me just going through that 90-day reset. Obviously I just split with my wife, so it was really tough times, and then I went through that whole journey of like bringing up the kind of memory stuff, working through that, and then to finally understand that it wasn't necessarily hospitality that I was like kind of aligned with or passionate about. It was actually contact with people, meeting people, telling stories, listening to their stories. And then obviously, as I said, the past couple of months I've felt quite lonely, just being isolated as such. And this is kind of now me kind of being aligned, being embodied. And now, as I said, I want to start building community and going out and meeting people. I'm meeting my friend John for a walk now. So yeah, like if you're interested in maybe joining our wee WhatsApp group, then the details will be in the description, and you just can text me, comment, and I'll get back to you. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, and ciao, Slanjiva.